Have you ever tried to run from your calling? I know I have, a long time, actually. And one thing I noticed is that when it's really your calling, when God is saying to you, "This is what I'm calling you to," there's no getting away from it. I mean, we see this in the book of Jonah. I mean, a lot of people focus on how angry Jonah was. He didn't want to do these things or whatever. But this is a perfect example of you can't run from your calling. You can't do it. I mean, I think you can if you quench the Holy Spirit. And that's really what I want to talk about today, because there is this massive quenching of the Holy Spirit in the body of believers. And it makes me actually, I don't know if it's that makes me want to vomit, but I get an actual visceral reaction where I like kind of heave, like that is so disgusting that I can't even. And I don't get that way with many things. And so I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I think that it has to do with this posturing and the manipulation within the body to control other members, right? Instead of submitting to the will of God and allowing other people to have their calling. You know, you don't get to decide what somebody else's calling is. God decides that. We're not listening to you. That is that's what you said kind of situation, instead of what I am said, the great I am. So, I don't know exactly what it is that makes me have this reaction when I see these things happen, but I can tell about my own experiences with that a little bit, because a lot of times people think that when somebody's calling is something that seems big, it's too big for them, that they're being proud, or that if they're a woman that they're a Jezebel, which that gets thrown around a lot to try to manipulate. I don't like that, because the true spirit of Jezebel is not always what is presented, or that they're not thinking about the people that they're responsible for, and all of these things. And it's really just, it's manipulation, and manipulation is at the heart of witchcraft. So it makes me really upset when I see people try to use there's a gnat, use their position to continue to posture within the body. And that's what I think I see. What I've witnessed under the sun is that when you have something somebody else likes to use, like, for example, I am well versed in all sorts of healing arts. I'm very good at what I do, and I would like to give freely, right? I want to help people. And so people that I have been around want to keep me in that position, but that's not what God called me to. And every time I try to run from what he's called me to, I get put square in the middle of a battle that I never wanted to fight. I'm like, I just want to keep my head down and live my life and be happy. And that, you know what? I am happy. I'm happy when I serve him. And the problem is that I was listening to the you are's instead of the I am. And so this is where I see people are having the same kind of issues. So in my situation, I kept being put in a situation where my past, all the things that God delivered me from and that I overcome by the power of him, that now I'm going back. And we see this in the Bible, right? We see this. Moses got away from Egypt, and what did he do? God sent him back. And he overcame, right? Because of God, not because of himself. And so God, we don't get to choose, right? So, and when you try to quench that in yourself because somebody else said, well, sometimes your ministry is really just your family. Well, I agree. We should take care of our families. If you're a parent, you need to be able to take care of your children. If you're a husband, you need to care for your wife. If you're a wife, you need to care for your husband. These things are true, right? But, the kids need you more than that. Didn't Jesus say that you had to love him even more than your spouse, right? Or you're not worthy of him. But this is what is being used, especially to quench the Holy Spirit in females. And I understand that men want their wives to be home and to take care of them. I understand this, and they should desire to love each other and give to each other. But when they are being controlled by not only their spouse, but also by the body of believers, shaming them into quenching the Holy Spirit inside of them, that makes me want to vomit. When you see that God is using somebody to do something and somebody else comes and says, I don't know if you should do that. That you're just being proud. You're being proud when you decide you're being proud and you don't listen to God. What if Moses said, well, I'm not going to listen to you because I'm just a filthy person and I don't want to do this and I'm just being proud. That in itself is saying, I know what I'm supposed to be more than you do, God. That is pride. And you can mask pride as humility in that way by shaming someone into feeling that they're prideful. I did a video on that a while back. But anyway, the point is, when you have a calling, not only is it's impossible for you to get away from it, you're just going to keep getting put back in a situation where you're going to have to do it, or you're going to have to actually quench the Holy Spirit and kill that inside of you. And I'm sorry, it's not worth it. It's not. I've felt that kind of quenching. And if you are really trying to seek God, it's going to make you sick. That fire is going to smolder inside of you, and you are not going to be able to survive. Just like Jonah was inside of that whale. He would not have survived. He would not have survived. He would have went down to Sheol because he wanted to quench the Holy Spirit. And he didn't. He repented and he was saved. Right? We can't do that. And more importantly, if you're in a position inside the body to encourage God's children to meet their potential in Him that He's calling them to, and you use your position to posture into a place of exaltation, into a place of superiority, then you are making God's church into a cult, because now you're coming between that person and God, telling them what they are supposed to be doing instead of having them listen to God. And I am not about the cult life. That's not for me. And maybe that's why I get so disgusted. This I want to vomit when I see it. So I decided I'd make a video about it and maybe get that out so that I don't like dry heave when I see it out in public, because I have no filter. So anyway, guard your heart, even from people who are close to you, because that's usually where your weaknesses are. But God will protect you if you put Him first. Always Him first. Him, the great I am, not what you say, but what He says. Always, every day. Have a great day.